Hey, what's going on everybody? Justin here, and in this video I got a short little chat style video where I'm just going to kind of talk about what I want to get done reading wise for the rest of the year. So, about 10 weeks or so depending on, when this actually gets uploaded in October and everything. But before I get on to my goals, leave some comments down below about what you want to get done for the rest of the year, whether that's starting like a new book or a new series, or finishing one, or starting some new like genres and stuff that you haven't tried before, anything like that. Leave some comments down below. I'm always interested to see what the rest of the kind of bookish community is up to and wants to get done, things like that. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. Now I want to read two more Oxford very short introductions. I got a handful here that I'm kind of like interested in, and I always set myself a goal of reading one a month. Didn't quite do that yet this year. I think I'm at 9, so I'm only like one behind. I think there was a couple months where I missed one, but then try to make up for it in other months by reading 2 and whatnot. But over here I got the Antarctic knowledge, the Habsburg Empire, classical mythology, and the Roman Empire. This is just kind of like a handful out of my collection that I'm kind of interested in. And like I said, depending on if I finish 9 or 10, I want to just make sure I actually hit 12. I think it's kind of cool reading one a month, the idea of reading one a month, because there's such a variety of topics, nonfiction wise, in this series. There's, I want to say it's in the 700s now, which is just pretty crazy. So anything you're kind of interested in, they probably have something kind of related to that topic. So I think it's just kind of neat reading one a month and kind of like just diversifying just your general knowledge base, I guess, if you're into nonfiction. So that's kind of what I want to do there. But then speaking of nonfiction, I also want to read and start reading a new, I don't know if you'd really count as a subgenre or whatever, but I guess I don't need to, but I'm going to start reading some Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I've read quite a bit of 40k stuff, Horus Heresy stuff, which is sort of the sci-fi futuristic version of Warhammer. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. Well, why? Because before Warhammer, when I used to read fiction, it was all fantasy, but I never read Warhammer fantasy anything, and only the sci-fi stuff. And I never read sci-fi stuff ever, like before Warhammer 40k. But I've recently been starting getting into the tabletop stuff, like painting the little models and miniatures and things like that. And I want to learn more about the lore, obviously, just because I read so much, and that's just like what I like. I started a new channel about that kind of stuff. If you're interested, I'll leave the link down below for that. But anyways, kind of going back to nonfiction. Nonfiction November is also coming up, and I'm gonna try to hit that pretty hard because that's most of my reading, sort of, anyways, is nonfiction stuff. I will say I do want to read a few more history books before the end of the year. Usually that's my number one genre, and this year, not that I've really done too bad per se, but compared to my other years, it's definitely a little bit lower. Particularly my medieval history reading has been really low this year. So I found one book that I'm going to try to make sure I get through, and then maybe try to read some other history books as well. Like we got Four Queens, the Provençal Sisters Who Ruled Europe by Nancy Goldstone. And I've meant to start this one a bazillion times. I'm sure we all have meant to have started lots and lots of books, but just somehow never get to them and whatnot. But this one is all about, there's 4 sisters who all became queens of different kingdoms in Europe. I think it was, Eleanor of Aquitaine, so we got England, there was France, Germany, and Sicily, which at the time Sicily, was kind of like the kingdom of the Normans and stuff. It was a pretty big deal. So it's kind of interesting seeing, or I think it'll be interesting seeing how literally one just family of sisters ruled most of the European world during, I guess, yeah, that'd be the High Middle Ages during, I think, the 13th century, if I remember correctly, with Eleanor. I want to say, yeah, definitely the 1200s. So anyways, definitely need to start reading, try to get a little bit more history reading in before the end of the year. And lastly, one more kind of thing that I want to start doing on the channel, but kind of book-wise, is getting back to doing book review type videos, mostly single book, just kind of dedicated reviews. Partially because I got 10 books from publishers that I have to do the reviews for, because I said I would. So but I kind of want to start doing it anyways. I got almost 100 on the channel, actually, just a whole slew of them just here and there, but I've kind of gone away from it for over like a year or so. So definitely want to start kicking that back up again, kind of doing that sort of thing. And I kind of want to learn, I don't know, try to come up with a way to make it a little bit more unique and fun and more maybe not entertaining. I'm like not an entertaining channel per se, but just kind of a new way of doing book reviews. Try to make it a little bit different from, you know, how everyone else does it or whatever, just so you're not watching the same sort of thing, and whatnot. And I also want to start doing some more like in-depth analysis, long style reviews. I'm not sure what the, like, kind of like a deep dive video, I guess, on some of my favorite books. And I have like kind of a secret plan, not really a secret plan, but I have a idea for the channel, just because, as you can see, I have a lot of nature books and stuff. That's kind of like my new #1 genre and stuff. Kind of want to start a series of book reviews and like kind of book topics overall, sort of like, I guess, the classics of like nature writing or classics of natural history, something along those lines, picking like my favorite books, but also books that are kind of like regarded as, you know, just, you know, the top, you know, the canon or whatever of natural history, you know, whatever that is, but you know, all the big names and stuff that I kind of like want to get through, and then kind of adding my own favorites in there as well. I think that'll be kind of cool, and it's just gonna help me with like my own like nature like reading and stuff like that. So I'm gonna hopefully, if I don't know, I might start preparing for that this year and then maybe start it up next year. I'm not 100% sure. We'll definitely see how that goes. But I think that was it from me. I'm not 100% sure why that was basically a vote of no confidence for anyone who was listening to that, probably. But anyways, if you want to support the channel, definitely check out my Etsy shop and stuff. You know, Christmas is coming up, holiday season's coming up, all that kind of good stuff. I'll leave a link down below to that. Everything, you know, in regards to the Instagram, Twitter, all that kind of good stuff. But thank you so much for watching. Like I said, don't forget to leave some comments down below about what you want to read for the rest of the year. And always remember, whatever you end up reading, read victoriously.